How concerned should we be about this latest maneuver from Russia?
Well, I think we should be concerned that Putin is once again using the nuclear card to try to intimidate and scare us. Moving, it's not like Belarus has been given these weapons for them to use as they see fit. This is just something where the Russians are moving into Belarus tactical nuclear weapons that are still under the control of Moscow, of Putin. If they're ever used, it would be by order of Moscow, not Lukashenko. So this is a lot of bluster by Lukashenko himself, and I think as far as the West is concerned, we know from Putin already that he feels that he has the right and he is willing to use a tactical nuclear weapon if he feels Russia is under imminent threat. If Russia is under threat of collapsing, that he has this right to use these weapons. We're not going to give him that feeling of being under such a threat. And so as he tries to play that card, it's really an intimidation game more than anything else. It's not something that should keep us up at night. We have to take it seriously, and we're all watching it, but I think that it's not something that should keep us up at night.
Okay. What does Lukashenko mean by break the West's support for Ukraine? What would that look like?
Well, that's what Putin really, really wants to see, and he thinks that he can play for time, and that over time the West will go wobbly, the U.S. will go wobbly. We'll have a presidential election, and we'll have Trump in power or something like that, or the West will say, "Look, we've had this. This has gone on too long. We don't have the stomach for this." So I think whether it is threatening the use of a nuclear weapon or it is just waiting us out or using the energy weapon that he tried to use over the past winter. Anything that can make us say that, well, we've supported Ukraine long enough. We're going to take our assistance and go elsewhere. Anything that will lead to something along those lines, Putin wants that to happen. And so, right now, every signal that we have seen, and we will see more of this at Vilnius next, and coming up in July at the NATO summit. The West isn't wobbly. The West is quite unified.
Mm.
NATO is quite unified, and so is the U.S. So I don't think we're going to see Putin's goal realized anytime soon.
Yeah, I know British officials have been warning that they expect Putin to use whatever tools he's got left, including nuclear threats. State media in Moscow have been regularly calling for nuclear strikes. Maybe this is their way of appeasing, Putin's way of appeasing some of those calls,
That's a very
as you
good
say,
point.
for how the optics of that look for those people,
That's right.
calling for more intervention. Before you go, just love a quick comment from you. We've been hearing today from Western officials that Ukraine's taking significant casualties, Jim, in making slow progress towards the Russian main line of defence. This is, of course, their counter-offensive, which was launched a few days ago, a week or so ago. What do you make of that? Is that to be expected? We'd heard that they'd taken a few key, villages, small towns or villages within the last couple of days, but we're being warned today that actually, progress is slow and there are significant casualties.
That's right, and I'm afraid this is going to be something we will see more of. The Russians are dug in. They have had all of winter to dig their trenches and to put up obstacles of all types. And I think World War One is an image that we all know, particularly your country, and it's something that we're going to see replicated a bit in Ukraine as the Ukraine forces try to go against Russians that are dug in using something that will look very familiar to someone out of World War One. And we're in the very early days of that. There's a lot of artillery that the Russians have, and the Russians will use that to break these armored columns that are trying to get through the minefields and over the obstacles and attack the trenches. It's a bloody business.
It
It's a
certainly
tough
is.
business.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know that US intelligence had those satellite pictures of trenches that were appearing all along the front line there from Russia's side.